Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's author webinar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chandni and I'm part of the Learning and Content Management team. So joining with me from the Learning and Content Management team are my colleagues Anita, Jennifer, and colleagues from research support teams, Sharon and Sandhya. Thank you for joining us. So before we begin, a few housekeeping items. So firstly, please take a few moments to complete the poll you will see on your screens. If you have a question at any time during the content of the session, please use the Q&A option to send your question directly to us. We will try to answer as many as possible during the session today in the Q&A channel. If we cannot answer all the questions, we will reply to you directly after the session unless you post the question anonymously. So we will also cover some of the questions at the end of the session today. For the best view, you may wish to drag the central bar on your screen to the right to enlarge the screen that we are sharing. And you may also wish to enable the live transcripts via the bar on the bottom of your screen. So finally, our session is being recorded and you will be sent a link when the recording is ready. So now let's take a look at our agenda for today. So we will start by giving you an overview of the author submission process in Editorial Manager. Please note that the steps may vary depending on the journal configuration and the type of article being submitted. We will also have a look at how to use the declaration tool when submitting a manuscript. Elsevier's declaration tool quickly and easily helps authors create a comprehensive statement which incorporates the ICMGE, that is International Committee of Medical Journal Editors declaration standards. So this declaration tool will produce statement in a Word form that can be uploaded alongside your manuscript and it will appear in your published article. So we will also provide you a brief explanation of the various editorial statuses your submission may progress through in Editorial Manager. Finally, we will provide you some information on the co-author verification. So now let's get into Editorial Manager test site and explore the author submission process. Please note that I'm going to be using our training site for the demonstration with dummy users and dummy submissions. The training site is a good replica of the live environment, but it will be slightly different to your own profile. So don't worry if you don't see things that you normally get to see when you log into your profile. So this may be due to the rights and permissions that are granted for each role that may vary from journal to journal. So now let's switch over to Editorial Manager. Anita, I guess you're able to see the EM page.
Yeah, it's all fine, Chandni. It would be great if you could just increase the font size a little so it will be easy for you.
Okay, sure. Is this fine now?
Yes, it should be fine.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so if you are a new user, you need to click on the register now option here in order to register with the journal. But if you are an existing user and if you would like to, if you already have an account and you would like to retrieve your username, just click on the send login details button here. If the system finds a matching email address, you will receive an email containing your username and a link to reset your password. So now I'm just going to log into Editorial Manager as an author. It's taking a bit of time. Yeah. Okay. Is this all clear, Anita? I'm able to see 2 tabs here.
Yeah, yes. Even I'm just seeing 2 tabs here.
Okay, I think it's
refreshing. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think we have some slowness issues, so it might be because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so once you are on the main page, So let me proceed. Yeah. Okay. So once you are on the main page, please use the update my information link that you see when you click on your name here. So you can use this option here if you would like to update your profile details. If there is change in institution, then it is not required to create a new editorial manager account. Rather, just click on this option here and you will be able to update your affiliation details, email ID, which will avoid having any duplicate accounts for you in the same journal. Okay. So now let's start with the actual content. So before submitting a manuscript, please check the journal requirements via the instructions for authors link, which you see on the new navigation bar. So when you click on the About option here, you need to click on the instructions for authors here. So these instructions will contain guidelines on manuscript word counts, file requirements, and any other important information for your submission. So it is important that you familiarize yourself with the journal requirements. So once you are ready to submit a manuscript, just click on the Submit New Manuscript option here. If you have already started submitting a manuscript, but you haven't completed it, then you can just start from where you left by just clicking on Select and Continue. If you would like to submit a new manuscript altogether, just scroll down and click on the Start New Manuscript option here. It's a bit slow today, so just bear with us.
Chandni, maybe just try using the declaration of interest in complete submission. I think that was initiated last time, I believe. So maybe just try and clicking select and cut the last one before. I mean, the last one, the declaration.
Oh, okay. I
Can you
think
just come down, come down. Yeah, the
yeah, it just started now.
okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so at this step, you need to select the article type for your manuscript. So please select the relevant article type from the drop down here. For example, if you are submitting for a special issue, please be mindful to select the right special issue article type here. So now in this example, I'm going to select full length article. So once you have selected the article type, yeah, at this point, the journal may request you to link to your ORCID record. So either you can do it now or you can also do it later in the process. The system will prompt authors to link to your ORCID account before you submit your paper to the journal. So once you are ready, click on the proceed button.
Fine.
Okay. So yeah, so at the attach file step, so here you need to include all the files that you would like to submit along with your manuscript. So you may either use the browse option here to access your computer's file list and upload the files from your computer, or simply use the drag and drop a file option here if you would like to upload multiple files from your computer. So in this example, let me start by uploading my manuscript. So for any submission, manuscript is going to be mandatory. So I'm starting with this one. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you can see all the file types that are mandatory. So if there are any file types that the author has missed to upload yet, so that will be highlighted to authors in red color. And then you can also see all the mandatory file types are marked with the asterisk symbol here. So as you see here, some journals, you can see the declaration of interest form is mandatory. And for some journals, it is just optional. But in either event, such a statement is mandatory from an ethics perspective. So we have also published a video on how to use this declaration tool. So if you click on this small eye icon here, you will be able to watch our short video on how to fill the declaration of interest form. So I'm just going to upload this quickly now. but we will come back and discuss on how to create the declaration of interest statement a little later in detail. So now I'm going to upload the declaration of interest form. So once again, select the item description and then click on the browse option here. Select the relevant file from your computer. So while it is being uploaded, I would also like to talk about the cover letter, which you see here. So if you wish to include the cover letter along with your submission and you don't find any instructions in guide for authors, it is nothing but a brief letter that introduces your manuscript to a prospective editor. So in this letter, you can actually specify any special considerations to be given to your manuscript, a brief background on the research or data that is involved, details of any previous or concurrent submissions that are going on in the same journal. So while it is getting uploaded here, so all the file types, whatever that you're going to upload, everything is going to be listed here. Make sure that you choose the right item type for each file that is being uploaded as part of your submission. If you would like to change the description of the file type, you can do so, but make sure that there are no personal identifiers being revealed when you are entering the description here. And also, if you would like to remove any of these files that you have uploaded by mistake, you can always select the type by ticking this checkbox and click on the remove option that will remove the file from your submission. And the system will automatically order the files based on the order that is designated by the journal. But however, if you wish to order them manually, you just have to change the number against each of the file type and click on the update file order that will automatically order the files based on the numbers that are entered here. Okay, so once you have uploaded all the files that is required for your submission, click on the proceed button to move to the next stage. So today we are kind of facing unusual slowness, but it's not the usual case. It's just getting downloaded, I guess. Yeah. So at the general information tab here, so the steps will vary depending on the requirements of your journal. So authors may be asked to select the region of origin from the drop down, and then to select your section category. And then the classification topic. So if any of these fields are mandatory, that will be alerted to authors through the small red triangle box that you see here. So this is kind of a caution alert to the authors that this is a mandatory field. So click on classifications. So classifications are fixed terms that are created for the journal. So they are different from the keywords that you enter in your manuscript file, or that can be added in the manuscript data step that we are going to see in a moment. So now I'm just going to select some classification topics that are already predefined. So from the list of topics that are available, authors can select whichever classification topic is relevant for your manuscript, and you can add them to your manuscript and then click on the submit button here. So this will help editors to find suitable reviewers from the journal database who have completed reviews on these topics. Okay, so once you are done with filling all the required information, click on the proceed button to move to the next step. So on the review preferences step here, depending on the journal requirements, you will see different options. So you may have the option to request for an editor. So you may have to click from the drop down and select an editor whom you wish to handle this manuscript. And then you may also have to suggest any potential reviewers for your manuscript. So scroll down, and it is mandatory that you need to submit at least one reviewer. So I'm just going to add a reviewer here. So go ahead and enter the details of the reviewer. So once you have saved all the mandatory information here, click on the small floppy disk icon that you see in order to save the reviewer details to the system. So likewise, you can also upload multiple reviewers. At the same time, you can also propose any reviewers whom you wish that should not be reviewing your manuscript under the oppose reviewer option here. So editors may or may not use these options. So once you are done with this, click on the proceed button here, and this will take you to the next step. So the additional information step here presents you with a list of questionnaire, which the journal uses to collect some useful information from authors. So please respond to each of these questions as appropriate by selecting your response from the drop-down. So select your responses from the drop-down. And once you have responded to all of these questions in this particular tab, just click on the proceed button to move to the next step. So the comments section here gives you an opportunity to enter any additional comments to the journal office. Please note that these comments will not appear directly in your submission. So you may wish to enter any comments here. And then click on the proceed button. So this will take us to the last step of the submission process. So the system may automatically pull some data from the manuscript file that is provided by the author to pre-populate the fields on this particular step, that's the manuscript data step. So authors may have to check and verify the data here if it is already pre-populated, or you may have to enter the data manually. So in this case, let me go ahead and enter the data manually. Scroll down. So here you may enter any keywords for your manuscript. So usually the keywords are automatically pulled from the manuscript file that is uploaded by author. In case if you have provided the keywords in your manuscript file, in case if you haven't provided any keywords, then this is the point where you can provide any manual keywords for your manuscript. So which may help editors to find appropriate reviewer candidates to review your paper. And then so on this particular tab, please make sure that you enter all authors of the submission, including their name, current contact email address, and all the institution details. So in case like if any of the author information is missing, then the system will automatically throw up the red alert symbol here. So this means that some required information is missing. So authors just need to click on the edit option here and provide the necessary details. I hope you're able to see
Yes,
a
Chandni.
pop-up window.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so here you can see the author details are already pre-populated, but it is important that you need to take care of the institution details. So it is essential that you choose the right institution from the drop-down, as you might be eligible for institutional and society discounts that can reduce your article publishing charges for gold open access journals. So we have also published a short video on how to do this, how to select the appropriate institution from the drop-down. So please watch, please refer to the guidelines here before you select any information from for this particular field. And then you will have to click on the contributor role and select the appropriate option here, whichever is appropriate for the author, and click on the small floppy disk icon to save the information. So once all the required information has been provided, click on this floppy disk icon once again to save the information. So once co-authors have been added manually by authors this way, then co-authors will automatically receive an email notification from the journal once the paper has been submitted by the corresponding author. Okay, so this is weird. Let me try to refresh my screen. So yeah, so authors can also add any number of co-authors here. So usually they are automatically pulled in from the manuscript file. Just in case if it is not, then authors, the corresponding author can fill in any co-authors at this particular step. So we have also published a video on the co-author verification, and it will be posted in the chat box for you shortly. So it is just taking some time to download. Sorry about this. I have to fill this again. So when you're entering keywords, make sure that you separate them using the semicolons here. So now I think the author details are automatically saved. So now coming to the funding information here. So please add any funding information for your manuscript or for your research. So if you have one, please go ahead and add the funding information details here. If you do not have any funding information at this point, you can simply click on the checkbox here that no funding information is available for your manuscript. And click on the save option here. So with this, we are done with the submission process. So if you would like to say, if you would like to save the submission details and you would like to come back submitting a paper at a later point, just click on the save and submit later option here. But if you would like to proceed with submitting your manuscript to the journal, click on build PDF for approval. So this will take you to the final stage where the PDF will get built. and the system will take a few moments. It might keep refreshing every now and then until the PDF is built.
Tanvi, maybe you can just try going back to the main menu and click on the submissions needing approval folder to see if there are any existing manuscripts.
Yeah, okay. So
Writing.
that sounds like a good idea. Okay, maybe I think even if I do that again, it keeps rotating. Maybe I'll just refresh my screen again.
Yeah.
Okay, something is happening. So this is not usual. This is something very unusual. Okay, so now I've come back to the main menu. So I'm just going to directly click on submissions waiting for author's approval here. In order to save some time, I have already prepared a manuscript where the PDF is ready for me to demo. Okay, so if you scroll down here, yeah. So I have already submitted a paper and it is ready. So once the PDF is ready, authors will be able to view the submission. So if you would like to view if you would like to see if all the submission files that you have uploaded, so they are no properly uploaded into the system. And if you would like to make any changes at this point, then you can click on the edit submission option here, go back and make any changes. And in the meantime, while your PDF is getting built, usually the system, as I said, it gets refreshed every now and then. In the meantime, you can click on the publishing ethics here and Elsevier's copyright access and read through the document and provide your consent by ticking the checkbox here. So once the PDF is built by this time, then you can view the submission and then straight away go into approving the submission here. So once you click on the approve submission, so the system will ask you to either link to your ORCID ID. If you don't want, you can just proceed without your ORCID ID. So now the paper will come into your submissions being processed folder in your main menu. So once this step has been successfully completed, authors will automatically receive an email confirmation that your paper has been submitted to the journal for consideration. But just in case if you do not, if there is some problem and it is getting delayed, please contact our chat support who will be able to help you with getting this problem through. Okay, so I just go back to my main menu then. Okay, so since this is taking a bit longer than usual, so let me go to the next part of the session where I would like to discuss in detail about the declaration tool. So once authors click on the approve submissions, as I said, the paper will come into submissions being processed folder here, and authors can track the submission status using this folder. So now in order to know more about the declaration tool, authors can find information about this from the instruction for authors here. And also you can click on, you will also find relevant information about the declaration tool on the attach file step. So for that, I'm just going to go into some random incomplete submissions here. So this declaration statement is very important because that provides a transparent disclosure of potential competing interest in order to meet your ethical obligations and to nurture trust in science. So Elsevier offers this declaration tool in Editorial Manager that quickly and easily helps authors create a comprehensive statement which incorporates the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, in other words, ICMGE declaration standards. So this statement can then be uploaded as a Word file alongside with your manuscript, and it will appear with your published article in Science Direct. So now I'm just going to click on the edit submission option here and straight away go into the attach file step. Okay, I think I already have the declaration tool. Okay. Are you able to see the declaration tool homepage here,
Yes,
Anita?
yes, Chandni, you can continue from here.
Okay. So yeah, so when you click on the declaration tool link from the attach file step, you will be essentially be taken to this particular page here. So this is the declaration tool homepage. So here you can read further information about declaring your interest, and when you're ready, you can start declaring. You can start your declaration process. So please note that some journals will have this option, I have nothing to declare button present at the starting. And this should only be used if you like to directly generate a statement when you're confident that you and your co-authors have nothing to declare. For other journals where this button is not available, you can indicate the same that you have nothing to declare in each page as you progress. So we will see that when we start declaring. So now let's start the declaration by clicking on Start My Declaration button here. So on the first page, which is the research support for the reported work. So on this page, you can declare any support you or any of your co-authors have received from certain types of third parties since the initial conception of your research. Note that you don't need to list any academic institutions or public funding sources from any charitable foundations or any government agencies here. So you can start filling in the organization details by typing the organization name here. And then you will be able to select one from the drop down. And then you will have to select relevant financial or non-financial support that you have received from this organization. And then you may also have to select who received this support, whether it is the co-author or any other, I'm sorry, whether it is the corresponding author or any other co-authors in this manuscript. So here I'm going to enter Jack Hill, the corresponding author. So once you have filled in the information here, you may also wish to add another funding source. So you may click on add another funding source. But if you do not have anything to declare at this point, you can simply toggle off this button here that you do not have anything to declare on this particular section. So once you have filled in all the required information, click on the next other support button here. So as I said before, you also have the save declaration for later option here. So if you'd like to save the declaration for later and you would like to come back within the next 30 days to continue with declaring your statements here. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so under the relevant support outside this reported work, so you should disclose if you or any of your co-authors have any financial interest or personal relationships related to the subject matter, but not directly related to the manuscript. The time frame for other support is within the last 3 years. So again, you can start by filling in the relevant fields here by typing the organization name and who has received the support from this particular organization. If you do not have anything to disclose under this particular option, just toggle off this button here and move to the next option, that is the intellectual property. So the patents and intellectual property page allows you to disclose any relevant patents or copyrights licensed to you or any of your co-authors. So again, if you have anything to disclose on this particular page, you can go ahead and provide the information, or you can just simply toggle off this button here if you have nothing to disclose, and then move on to the other activities. So this is the final page of the declaration tool where you can submit any further information that a reader could perceive to have influenced your work that has not been covered in the previous pages. So once again, you can enter any option, you can enter any comments here, or you can simply use the toggle off option to declare you have nothing to declare on this particular section here. So now you can go ahead with reviewing your declaration statement by clicking on Review Declaration. So this screen summarizes all the information you have provided so far. So at this point, if you would like to go back and make any changes to your previous content, you can always click on the back button here and make any edits to the previous content. Or if you would like to go ahead with submitting and downloading, if you're happy with all the content that has been provided, just click on this button here. So at this step, the system will offer the authors the option to enter your email address to save your declaration statement. You will receive the same prompt if you wish to save your progress at any time while using the tool by clicking on Save and Submit Later button. So if you do this, you will be prompted to enter a one-time passcode, and then you will be able to download your declaration form. So this will allow authors a window period of 30 days to come back to this declaration tool, download your declaration statement anytime, make any changes, and then download the final version of your declaration statement. Alternatively, you can also click on this option, No thanks, I want to download a declaration without saving it. Go ahead and use this option. So the declaration tool will now create a document using the information that's been provided as a Word file. And this Word file can be uploaded in the attach files tab along with your manuscript. But just in case, if you have just saved your declaration statement and you would like to access it further, then you can just click on no, you can access them using this one-time password that you just see under Need an Existing Declaration. Okay, so this is how you use the declaration tool in Editorial Manager. So we have also published a short video on how to use this tool and tool. So the link to this video will also be posted on the chat box for you now. So now we are going to move to the last part of the session, that is how to track your submission. So I will give you a brief explanation of the various editorial statuses your submission may progress through in Editorial Manager, for which I'm going to go back to my presentation. Anita, can you confirm that you're able to see my screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. So once an author finishes writing his paper and submits it to the journal, the system shows the status of the manuscript as manuscript submitted. Based on the workflow of the journal, the editorial office or the editor performs a technical check on your manuscript. So they will check the manuscript word count, format, and figure quality, etc. So the next step is assigning it either to the editor-in-chief or to an associate editor for further handling. Journals usually have multiple editors, multiple associate editors who are experts in a particular niche within the broader subject area. Your manuscript will be handled by the editor who has the highest level of understanding and experience with your paper's research topic. The status will remain with the editor until the editor either makes a decision or invites reviewers. The handling editor has different action choices. They can either make a desk reject decision, or they can send the paper for revision or invite reviewers. The editor conducts an initial screening on your paper and assess it against several criteria such as novelty, priority, and scope. If your paper is a better match for another journal, you will be offered a manuscript transfer. Also, it is possible that your paper does not meet some of the assessment criteria, and then the editor will reject it before going into the peer review. If the editor decides that your paper is a good match for their journal, they will identify two or three independent reviewers, depending on the journal configuration, and send them an invitation to review your manuscript. So when the editor invites reviewers, the status will automatically change to under review. Once the required number of reviews are received and recommendations are submitted, the status of the manuscript will show as required reviews completed. The handling editor will then carefully study the review reports. It can happen that the referee reports are conflicting, in which case the editor needs to find an additional reviewer. When this happens, your submission will return back to the under review status. So when the editor has received enough high quality feedback from the reviewers, they will begin the decision making process and move the status to decision in process status. So the decision may need to be confirmed by multiple editors in some journals. So the manuscript will move to the editor in chief's account for making a final decision. So the editor in chief submits his or her decision. So a revised decision. The editor has requested that you revise the submission. You will find the details of the changes required and the deadline for your revision in the decision letter. So accept or reject. So this decision means that the submission process has been completed with either an accept or reject decision. In this case, the manuscript will begin its production process and you will receive further information from us. Transfer pending. So the editor has rejected your paper and has suggested to transfer it. So the editor has recommended the submission be transferred to another journal via our automatic article transfer service, and you are offered a transfer. So we will await your response before proceeding, until which the status will remain as transfer pending. So submission transferred. So this means you have accepted the transfer and the submission is now transferred to another journal. So as I said, we have also published a video on the submission status explainer, which will explain how your submission progresses after submitting the manuscript in Editorial Manager. And the link of this video will also be posted in the chat section for you now. So we have now introduced a submission tracker tool to more than 2000 plus journals. So once a journal is using a submission tracker, an email is sent to the corresponding author when the first reviewer is invited. So as you can see from the screenshot here, the email contains a link to the submission tracker landing page where the author can view the status of the review process of their submission. Note that the same link will remain active throughout the end-to-end review process. So we expect to have the submission tracker tool available for all journals in the near future, just in case if your journal is not yet rolled out to the submission tracker tool. So the submission tracker landing page for a submission will look as shown here in the screenshot. So from here, you can monitor the complete status of your manuscript. So at Elsevier, we want to help all our authors to stay safe when publishing. So we are aware that there are a number of scams in operation which seek to fraudulently obtain money from authors. Typically, these schemes take the form of emails perpetuating to be from journal's editorial office, asking the authors to pay a fee. Often this request is made at the same time as announcing that the paper has been accepted for publication, even though in reality, it is still in the editorial review workflow. There are some tips on how you can avoid being scammed and stay safe when publishing. Please make sure that every time you receive an email, please check that it comes from elsevier.com address. And also request for payment, especially if you have not chosen to publish in a gold open access journal. You should be wary of any communication requesting that you transfer money to enable publication. So in case of gold open access journal, Elsevier will not only ask for payment after your paper has been accepted for publication. So these are some highlighted points that I would like to mention. on this particular section, but I would just like to give you a few seconds for you to just observe all the points that have been presented here. Okay. So when submitting, authors are asked to list all the co-authors of the submission. Editorial Manager journals request co-authors confirm their co-authorship, as this helps to ensure that authorship includes all individuals who have made a significant contribution to the conception, design, execution, or interpretation of the manuscript. So how do I verify my contribution as a co-author? Request to verify may be for a new submission or for a revised submission. So the journal will send co-authors an email notification which includes deep links to verify co-authorship. Some journals will ask that you also register or log in to confirm your co-authorship, which will also allow you to view the status of the submission. Some journals will ask that you also register or log in to confirm your co-authorship, which will allow you to view the status of the submission on your author main menu from the folder submission being processed. So depending on the journal configuration, you may also receive up to 2 reminders to verify your co-authorship. So we have also created a video on the co-author verification, and it has been hosted on YouTube. And the link of this will also be posted on the chat box for you now. Okay, so please click on the author guide link and you will be able to see all the information related to the author guide here. So the link to the author guide will also be posted on the chat box for you. So this will have all the relevant information that you need in order to submit your manuscript to the journal, and also how to track your submission while it is in the review process in Editorial Manager. So the link will also be posted in the chat box for you now. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. After the session, we will send you an email that will contain some helpful links to the webinar recording and some of the short video guides that are related directly to the topic today. So please look out for that email. Again, a gentle reminder to please take a few moments to complete the short poll that you see on your screens right now. So your answers will help us deliver more webinars like this one. So thank you for joining us once again. See you next time. Bye-bye.
So let's hold on for a minute or so to complete the question.
Yeah, sure.
For people to answer before.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I see there are no further questions in the Q&A channel, and we are good to close the session. So thank you once again and see you next time. Bye-bye.